Hi guys. So today I had to make a video about this horrible clickbait article, videos, and things that are going around. And they're just that. They're just clickbait for people to get you to click on their videos and read their articles. And they're claiming that these world-renowned leaders in the health and wellness space, the very respected people, are now saying that you should not be intermittent fasting. And I wanted to clear up a couple of things because I have had questions from clients this week. I've seen it on the different groups that I'm a part of. My husband was asking me about it. I mean, I've just had friends and family reach out about it. And I really think it needs some clarification. Part of it, there's no malintent on some of these people's part and their work, but a lot of it, people are just putting together different sets of interviews to try and create this headline about how intermittent fasting is bad for you. Nobody should be fasting, how it causes serious muscle loss. And so I just want to make a video today to really dispel these myths and false things that are going around, because actually none of that is scientifically based. And I'll get into it why. So I saw a bunch of these videos and they're using very, very well-renowned people, Gabrielle Lyon, they have Peter Attia. I mean, they have all these people on there. And if you watch the interview, especially the one with Peter Attia, he says that he was doing a 72-hour fast every month. And he was doing 2 7-day water only fasts a year. Now, if you look at the guidelines and the science and the data behind intermittent fasting and extended day fasting, you are supposed to fast 72 hours once every quarter. And you're supposed to fast a 7-day water only fast just once a year. So already that is too much fasting. And I can see why that would cause muscle mass, because that's really at a point where you're doing too much and your body still needs fuel. So it starts using burning up muscle and, degrading muscle to provide the fuel source. And so again, that does not mean that intermittent fasting and extended fasting is bad for you. It just has to be done correctly, and it has to be done in the right way. But especially for women, we only recommend fasting certain times of the month, not fasting during, the phases where your progesterone is high. I mean, I work with my clients on this in a very specific pattern that you're doing this correctly. Especially my female patients, they are doing maybe a 36-hour fast once a month, 72 hours once every quarter. And a 7-day fast every year if they can do it. I myself do a 5-day water only fast just once a year. I need the autophagy, I need the immune system boosted, I need my gut healed. I do a 5-day water only fast once a year. So when you see these clips and they're putting these things about, oh, it causes muscle mass loss and all of this stuff, A, how much are they fasting? And B, these people that they're talking about and these thought leaders have very ultra clean diets, 2 grams of protein per body mass of theirs. They have very, very ultra clean diets. So it is okay to say for them that you do not want to do intermittent fasting and extended day fasting. But the majority of the population is obese, has metabolic syndrome. The NIH just came out with the latest data. 42% of Americans are obese. 42%. Let that sink in. We are not talking about these thought leaders and well-known, well-renowned people in ultra amazing shape. We are talking about 42% of Americans are obese. And this is a 10% increase since 2000. This is a drastic issue. We have 60% of the population has metabolic syndrome. So when you put out these blanket statements like intermittent fasting is dangerous and fasting is dangerous and it causes, muscle mass loss, this is false. People are spreading stuff that is absolutely inaccurate, and the majority of the population would benefit from intermittent fasting, from extended day fasting. Now, is there some people and a certain set of people that fasting does not work for? Absolutely. There are some people who come into my practice and I understand that they are not candidates for fasting, especially pregnant people, people with eating disorders, people who already have very minimal body fat. We are not fasting with those kind of people. But the majority of the people need to be doing some sort of intermittent fasting or extended fasting if possible. It is not a fair comparison to compare people who are in extreme shape and athletes and really good shape and biohacking and all of that to make a blanket statement. One of the videos I saw, and I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he's like ultra buff, right? And he's now saying do not do fasting. Well, you're in prime optimal shape for yourself versus the 42% of obese Americans. So again, not generalizing this. This is really a disservice to the people, especially in America, but even around the world, to put these clips of these, well-renowned people saying, do not fast. It causes muscle mass loss. The next thing I wanted to touch is the science. Whether you believe in intermittent fasting or not, there's science behind it. It helps heal the gut. When you're constantly not dumping food in there, it helps give the gut a rest. Whether it's 13 hours or 17 hours or 24 hours, doesn't matter. When you are not constantly dumping food in your gut, it is resting and resetting the gut. It helps heal the microbiome of the gut. The body is not constantly producing insulin, giving you these insulin spikes and making you insulin resistant. So that is just science that is unarguable, cannot be refuted, that, you know what? When you fast, whether it's 13 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever it is, or 17 hours, there is major benefit behind fasting. And you're not using the glucose and the carbs and all of that as a source of fuel. When you don't eat for a set amount of time, ultimately the body resorts to using fat as a fuel. That's scientifically proven, and that's a good thing. You want your body to use up these stores and reserves of fat that it has kept over the years. You want your body to use that as a source of fuel. So again, I get very upset when I see these clickbait videos and snippets from these world-renowned people saying do not fast, and really not the whole interview. And if we go back, 5th century BC, Hippocrates said, start fasting, refrain from food for certain periods of time. In the Hindu, Vedic, Jain cultures, fasting has been there for over 1500 BC. Before that, fasting has existed. And these people had led very long, healthy lives. Monks, or even people that follow Jainism, they lead very long, healthy life, well above into their 90s and even 100 years old. So this is really a blanket statement. And I just had to make this video because there's so many factors that go into this. If you're doing, what Peter Attia said, where he's doing 72-hour fast, once a month, that's excessive. When you're doing 2 7-day fasts for twice a year, that's excessive. You are going to have muscle mass loss. Absolutely, because the body needs to get fuel from somewhere. But the majority of the people, the majority of the population, especially if 42% are obese, or even myself, which I am not obese, I'm in great shape, but intermittent fasting is absolutely beneficial for an average person like me. So I really don't want us looking at these clickbait things. I've seen it all over the groups that I'm on about, oh my God, should we stop fasting? No, you don't stop fasting. You listen to your body, you let your body heal. Everything done in moderation is helpful for the body. Everything. Anything excessive is going to be too much, whether it's fasting or not fasting at all. And that's going to be excessive. All the time eating, that's going to be excessive and harmful to your body. But what I request is that everyone look at these articles and videos that are now circulating on YouTube, and they're cutting and pasting, just to get all these clicks and views and things like that. It is not accurate information. And it is not accurate information because it's not scientifically based, but it's not accurately and scientifically based for the average population. So before we throw the baby out with the bathwater, let's not do that. Fasting is very important. Intermittent fasting is very important. Extended day fasting, should you have a medical professional who's guiding you through all of this? Absolutely. In my practice, we do so many factors into consideration, including supplementing with multiminerals, and all of these things that patients need to do while fasting. Amino acids, I myself take amino acids when I'm doing intermittent fasting. Absolutely necessary, because you need all of those nutrients, but it can be done correctly versus this blanket statement of, oh, don't do intermittent fasting, stop fasting, it's, reducing muscle mass. Absolutely not true. So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater and really try to get to, more views and clickbaits and things like that. It's really not scientifically productive.